Hello, Duranis here, and welcome to episode 1 of Terrafirmacraft. So, yeah, this is a new series, and basically I saw Etho playing this recently, and it looks like a really, really good mod. And I've played around with it a little bit, and haven't gone too far into it, because I don't want to really spoil it, but it's really, really good fun. So, what I'd sort of categorise this mod as is sort of vanilla Minecraft in hardcore mode. So, a lot of the vanilla recipes are changed, and a lot of the vanilla mechanics are changed as well. So things like most of the blocks here are affected by gravity, so you can't build your house out of cobblestone or out of dirt because it will just fall over. And you can't tunnel for long distances underground without supports because it will collapse and cave in on you. You have both a thirst and a hunger bar, so you have to drink and eat. And when you eat as well, you have to eat. You got 5 different food groups. So you got fruit, vegetable, grain, protein, and dairy. And you can see there you've got little bars which gradually decrease over time. And as these bars decrease, your maximum health decreases as well. So if you only have if you eat purely fruit, for example, so that's the only one that's filled, then your health will be 1/5 of what it normally would be. So you have to try and get food from all 5 of these food groups, which is pretty difficult to do. You also have skills here, so as you do different things in the game, your skills will go up, and the higher your skill is, the more effective it is. So for the agriculture, for example, once your skill level gets higher, you have a chance of getting back more seeds when you harvest stuff. Here we've got some ore, so this is copper ore, and you can find this sort of scattered around on the surface, and generally if you see it on the surface it means that somewhere underneath here there's a vein of that ore. So I'm going to put a quick waypoint there, and that will just make it easier to find later on. And this is actually a really nice seed. We've got water and big trees and food right nearby. So what is this? Green beans. So that's good. So you can see there that was actually fully grown. So as I harvested it, I got some green beans, which are vegetables, and the green bean seeds, which are going to be useful. So that's quite good for getting our food straight off. And you can see as I'm walking around, I'm also collecting these rocks. And these are basically what you use to make your beginning tools, at least to start with. And we'll collect some sticks here as well. And probably one of the first things you're going to want to make is a stone knife. So to do that, when you open up your interface, you get this napping interface. So basically to open that up, you right click with your stone in your hand, and then you get this off, and you basically take off the bits that you don't want. And this pattern makes a knife. And then if I put these in with the sticks, I get a stone knife. And basically what this will allow me to do is when I break grass blocks with the stone knife, I get straw. And then when I combine 4 straw in the crafting grid, I get a thatch block. And the thatch block's really useful to begin with because it's one of the few blocks that isn't affected by gravity. So you can use it for pillaring up, and you can use it for building houses and stuff like that. I'm going to grab these beans here as well. So let's just quickly grab them while we're here. And finding food in this mod is can be very, very difficult, and you have seasons in this as well. So we're in early summer at the moment, so if we look there, early summer, and basically as winter comes on, certain crops will die off and it will get colder, so water will start freezing and some trees start dying off and things like that. And there's temperature in the game as well, and the temperature and rainfall affects what trees you get in the biome, and each biome has sort of different variations of how much rainfall and what temperature they have. So there is a lot of detail in this mod, and I definitely recommend reading through the wiki before you try and get too far into it, because trying to figure a lot of this out for yourself is going to be pretty impossible. So all I'm doing now is just trying to collect some starting resources here. Ideally what I want to do is get a good stack of stone. I want to get a good supply of thatch, which is not a lot of grass over here, so I'm going to head over that direction in a minute and try and find a few more grass blocks, and a good stack of sticks here. So the first night is going to be pretty brutal. We have food here, which is good. We haven't got a movable water source yet, which we'll get into in a little bit, and we really need to get some thatch just to give ourselves some sort of protection, because the mobs have a lot of health in this game, and you have no real way to fight them off to begin with, and it actually takes quite some time to get to a point where you can make a weapon that's actually effective. So to begin with, you just spend a lot of time sort of running and hiding. So that's where the thatch box come in useful, because you can just sort of block yourself in, or you can just pillar up. And what's that? We've got onion seeds, so that's pretty good as well. I will come back and get some more of these later on. What time of day is it? It's about midday, so yeah, this beginning bit reminds me a lot of sort of UHC. You're sort of running around scrabbling to get all your starting resources to begin with, and then sort of heading down to mine or doing your nighttime stuff. So how many sticks have we got? 15 sticks, and yeah, that's good. There's lots of grass over here, so we'll head over here and harvest some more of this grass. Some soybeans here, so that's soybeans are actually a good source of protein, and you can see there, as I said, gravity, most blocks are affected by gravity, and because these dirt blocks have grass on top, they will hold up, but there's a good chance when you walk over them that it will fall down. I'm just going to quickly turn my music down a little bit there. So let's gather a few more of these soybeans. What is this one? Soybeans as well from the looks of it, but they're not fully grown. So I'm not sure where I'm going to set up yet, so I'm just sort of trying to gather as much as possible as I go, but I don't want to waste too much time here, because it's going to be getting night fairly soon. I need to try and find some clay so I can get my clay molds going, and I need to definitely get a lot more thatch going here. So let's try and gather as much straw as we can. And yeah, so trees and what was I saying? Distracted. Yeah, trees. A couple of things to note about the trees is some trees, these trees. Have I crashed? Nope. Okay, I'm fine. Just a bit of a lag spike there where it loads in a new chunk, but these trees here, these big ones, I don't think they drop saplings, but most trees, when you cut them down, won't drop saplings. The leaves will just despawn, so you need to break all the leaves first to get your saplings, and then cut the trees down. Mobs in here, so passive mobs, they don't respawn either, so don't kill the first mobs that you come to, because they might be the only ones that are close by. There's a whole breeding system in here as well, which is different again from the vanilla mechanics. It's similar in that you basically feed them wheat or whatever it is, and then they'll mate, but then they have a gestation period where they're pregnant, so they don't immediately pop out a baby. You have to wait for the baby to be born, and then that takes a period of time to grow up as well. So farming on here is quite a long process, and it takes a few in-game months to actually go through the whole process. So it's not a 100% reliable source of food, but the meat that you get off them as well does last quite a while too, and there's ways to store meat and prepare meat which will make it last longer too. Over there we've got a fruit tree, and they again work slightly differently to normal trees. Oh, we've got some pigs there as well, that's really handy. So I think I'm actually going to set up my base probably fairly close to here, because it's quite a nice area. There's lots of big trees. Wow, lots of animals. I did a quick run through before, and it took me forever to find any animals at all. So that's really, really useful, having some pigs right there. And you get, if I right click on these, you can see there's a female one there, and that's a female too. Oh no, that's a male. So you need a male and a female, obviously, to breed, and you only really need one male, but if you've got multiple females, that's a lot easier to breed and breed quickly. So I've got quite a few there. Let's quickly make some more knives. What am I doing? So yeah, right click, and the knives are just straight down the middle, and then these corner sections. And I'm running out of daylight here, yeah, so it's starting to get night time. So what I'm going to want to do now is actually make these into thatch blocks, just so I'm sort of prepared to get out of the way of the mobs, because they're going to spawn really quickly and I have no way of fighting them off. And we've actually got some bismuth here as well, so let's collect that. Bismuth is important for your early alloys because it's used to make bismuth bronze, so that's quite an easy to make but useful alloy. And I'll get into the whole alloy system later. I'm just running away from that skeleton now. So let's try and get away from these trees a bit, because I don't want to be stuck in a position where the mobs are spawning and they're just underneath the trees when the daylight comes back. And we could do with finding a little bit of clay as well. Aha. There should be some clay over here. So you see these yellow plants here, that's goldenrod, and basically underneath that will be clay, and clay is used to make moulds and pottery, which is useful for a whole number of things, so let's hopefully not get killed while we're doing this. So let's make a shovel head, and let's dig up some clay. So you can see here we've got the clay blocks. And I think I'm relatively safe for the moment, but I want to keep an eye out because the mobs do a lot of damage and there is no way to fight them, so basically all you need to do to begin with is just run and hide, which I think I've already said, but you can tell I'm kind of scared and nervous of the mobs at the moment. So 28, let's get a bit more. I'm sort of pushing our luck a little bit here. We should really be trying to find some shelter, but so far we've seemed fairly safe. So the progression here is you start off really with stone tools, and the different stones that you pick up have different durabilities, so depending on what stones you use to make your tools out of, it will last for shorter or longer. And we've got 32 blocks here, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to collect some more clay here, and I'm going to try and sort of survive the night out, and I'll come back when it's daytime, and we'll get some stuff done with the clay and get some wood, and maybe start building our starting shack here. So yeah, I'll be back when it's daytime. Okay, so far it's still nighttime, and I seem to be relatively safe. There doesn't seem to be anything too close to me. So I'm going to push my luck a little bit here and try and get some wood. So what I'm going to do is make an axe head, which is, I believe, made like this. Yeah. So I'm going to actually make a few of these because these stone axe heads aren't going to cut down this whole tree. So I'm probably going to need about 4 or 5 of them to actually cut down this big massive tree. And apologies if this is a bit dark, I'll try and lighten it up in editing, but I don't know why I'm talking quietly as if the mobs can actually hear me here, but yeah, so I'm going to make a few of these, and you can see the crafting process in this is fairly slow, and I'm actually really enjoying it because I play FTB and that kind of stuff quite a bit, and the whole sort of slowing down of getting the resources and all of that is quite a nice change of pace. So you can see here, to cut down a tree, if you cut the bottom block, it will basically make the whole tree fall down. But because these axes don't have enough durability to cut down a whole tree, when it gets to the end, see my axe broke, but then a whole bunch of logs fell down. So let's pick these up, and you see also that they only stack into 16s. So a lot of stuff will only stack up to 16s. Clay will stack to 64, sticks will stack to 64, but most stuff will only stack to 16 or 32. So storage quickly becomes a problem on here, especially as making chests and that is not overly easy. So these basic logs, there's a few things you can do with it, but to actually get like your normal vanilla planks and stuff like that, you need to make a saw, and to make a saw, wow, I only used 2 axes to cut that down, that's surprising. To make a saw you need metal and casting technology, which we'll get into. Let's do that now actually. I think we're still relatively safe, so what I'm going to do is dig a hole here, and let's grab our clay, and the first things we're going to make is some clay vessels, and basically you can use these to store things in. So Let's make a couple of them. And then we need to make a water jug, which I think is 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, and 1 out there. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. No. Okay, this is the wiki comes in useful. So give me 2 seconds. Let me just look this up. And so yeah, the recipes, once you've done it a few times, they're fairly easy to remember, but yeah, trying to discover this by yourself is pretty much impossible. So yeah, so it's 1 there, it goes along 3 and then down 1, and then in 1 and then around 3. So these clay jugs are basically used to transport water. I don't know if they can transport other things as well, but the main use is just for being able to give you a portable water source. And that one there, that's it. So what we're going to do now is actually set up a kiln to fire these. Just get all of these into our hotbar, and we're going to need a fire lighter, which is just 2 sticks diagonally like that. And we're going to need 8 logs. So what we do first is just shift and right click. So we're placing them in these corners. And then if we shift and don't need to shift, if we just right click with the straw there, it fills it up to there. And then right click with the logs to put them on top. And it does that fairly often, which is fairly annoying, but okay, that's, I'll show you that again in a second as well. So just right click, don't shift and right click. And then if you right click with your fire starter, that will start up, and that will actually take, I think it's 8 in-game hours to actually do that. So while that's running, if you saw there, it looked like I put down a block, and basically if you shift and right click with a log, it will make a storage pile. And you see if I right click on this now, I can store, well, I can store up to 16 logs in there. So it's fairly useful for, and you see as I took the logs out, it just disappeared. So it's fairly useful for storing logs. But it takes quite a bit of space to store them, because you can obviously only store 16 per block. And I'm just going to grab a bit more of this while we wait out the night. I don't want to travel too far in the night time. And this will be quite useful because it's a bit more portable storage, as well as giving us a portable water source there. And let's just eat a bit more food here. And you can see my first bar is actually getting down to just over halfway. And if you haven't got a jug there, what you can do to drink is just go into some fresh water. And you can tell it's fresh water because it's got these bulrushes growing. And if you just sit in it, you can see your water bars slowly refilling there. And let's just do a quick inventory of what we've got. So we've got some seeds here. We've got a little bit of copper and a little bit of bismuth, but not enough to really do anything with. And we've got quite a bit of wood there, which is really, really useful. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I will just scout around this area a little bit, get a few more things, wait for this to finish, and I'll be back when this kiln's finished firing the clay. Okay, so our kiln's just finished, and you can see here we've got our nice fired jugs and our ceramic vessels. So if you right click with these, you can see you get a inventory come up here, and you can't store everything in here. So for example, these logs, they won't go in there. But these seeds, for example, they'll go in there just fine. And food as well. If you store food in these, it does last a little bit longer. So you can see we've got a decay value on there. And over time, your food will decay, and the higher the decay value, the quicker it decays. So, say for example, it's 5%. It's sort of exponential. So the more decay it's got on it, the quicker it goes off. And you can actually cut the decay off with a knife. But like I said, if you store it in a ceramic vessel, it actually keeps it for a little bit longer. And if you put it also in a sort of cold place, it will keep it for even longer still. So I've got a whole bunch of thatch blocks here as well. And let's just chuck all of that up there. And we'll get rid of the dirt. We don't need that. We'll get rid of the rotten flesh. We'll get rid of the broken axe there. So I've got quite a bit of wood here, and I've got a little bit of willow wood. I've got some of the sticks, and let's where's it gone? Let's grab these guys, and what we can do with these is just fill them up with water, and this is a much easier way to refill your water meter. So you can see there, just one of them refilled my water meter, and you can carry these around as well, which is really, really useful for when you're exploring. So what I'm going to do now is basically set up a spot where we can call home, and then I'll probably call an episode there, and I think next episode we'll go out and explore the area a bit more, start gathering a few more things. So we're going to need to get a renewable source of food. So we've got a few seeds here, so we'll get them planted, but we could do with maybe some fruit trees or berry bushes, and we also need to start gathering some ores and materials. So there's some over there. This actually looks like maybe not a bad place to set up. It's relatively flat. We've got trees nearby, but they're not so close that the mobs are going to be sort of sitting waiting for us. Why is this world not loading in? Come on, load in, world. And we've got the water source right there as well, which is really handy. So yes, this actually looks like a really nice area. And what have we got right here? Platinum. Interesting. So we've got some gold over there too. So yeah, let's just build a starting shack here. It's not going to be anything too fancy. It's just going to be somewhere to keep us safe at night time. And let's grab our shovel. So I'm just going to level this off a little bit. And I'll quickly show you as well what I mean about the gravity blocks. So you see here, we've just got normal dirt. It's not a grass block dirt, and we've got a gap there. So if I place this on here, it's going to fall off to the edge because it's not supported. And same there, and same again. So you can see it's really hard to actually build with any block that's affected by gravity, because it will just sort of fall over and sort of cave in. So it makes tunneling and all sorts a lot more difficult. And there's ways to work around it. You can get things called support beams, which you use later on when you're mining, but we don't have that technology yet. So let's just quickly make another shovel head, and that should do the job. And it's starting to get dark, so this is kind of a perfect time to get a base set up. So let's do this. And one thing to remember as well is that thatch is flammable. So in my first sort of test playthrough, I built a little thatch house just to get going, and then I built a kiln right in the middle of it and caught the whole thing on fire and killed myself. So something to bear in mind. I sort of got so used to playing on mods where playing on servers where fire tick and sort of creeper damage and stuff like that is off, that I completely forgot about it. So we're just going to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we'll do a 5 by 5 to begin with. 5 and 5, and we'll upgrade this as we go along. But to begin with, like I said, it's just something to keep the mobs out and keep us safe at night time. And we've got a few more thatch blocks here. May even have enough to be fancy and have a roof, but let's just take that out for the moment. And just quickly chuck one on each of these corners. And then we can build across. So we have a wonderful 5 by 5 starting cube here, which is maybe not the prettiest of starts, but it gets the job done. And believe me, in this mod pack you definitely want to have some protection from the mobs. Always have a problem with saying mods and mobs. So let's actually put some of our logs out here for storage. So you can also just right click to put them in. So you see there, it took the whole 16, but it's kind of easier just to place one and then access it and chuck them in. And there, let's just chuck all of them in there. And that's not what I wanted to do. shift click and then put them in. And then one's there. I didn't know that either. So if you fill one up, it will automatically create another one next to it. That's good to know. So let's put them in there. I'll keep them in my inventory. Actually, no. Let's keep them in inventory, and I'll store these ones here. And the other useful thing as well, if you have a log, seeing as I've placed these, and you hit it with a hammer, so if you're running low on sticks, this is one way to make sticks. So just have a log placed down, and then just hit it with a hammer, and you'll get 3 sticks per log. So not overly efficient, and once you get a saw, I think you can make sticks a little bit easier. But to begin with, especially in an area like this where there's not a lot of sticks, it's a good way to do it. So let's quickly break that. I say quickly, that's a relative term. Anytime today. Anytime today. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Cut, and I'll be back in a second. So that's an interesting thing. It appears that if you place the log sideways, the hammer doesn't actually work on it. And if it's placed upwards, like it would be when it's in a tree, the hammer works fine. So that's something to bear in mind as well. And let's just throw a few sticks down here. And to make you can make a campfire basically, which you can use to cook foods, and it also gives you light. And you can use it for a few other things too. So you throw 3 sticks down, and then hit it with the fire starter, and you get the campfire. And then you can put your logs in here to warm the fire up, and let's chuck a stick in there. So you can see the temperature gauge here, and as that goes up it gets hotter, and then as it goes down obviously it gets colder, and you have to feed it logs to get the temperature up. And you can see here it's sort of leveled out at that temperature, and that's because these logs won't bring it up any higher than that. So different logs actually have a different temperature rating on the maximum temperature they can burn, and later on that becomes really important when you're using things like forges and stuff like that. So you will need to go out. You can't just use one wood type all the time. There are some woods that are better than others, but there's different sort of uses for them really. So some woods they grow really quickly, they're easy to cut down, and so they're easy to reproduce on mass quantity, so they're good for building. Whereas others, they take longer to grow, but they have a high heat rating, so they're better for sort of cooking stuff. And let's see if I can cook these in there. I don't think you can. I think you need a food preparation surface to do anything with sort of the vegetables and that. You can cook meat in here, which makes it preserve longer, and I think it gives it a better hunger rating as well. So what have we got here? That's our ores. So the thing with these ceramic vases as well, if you shift and right click, you can just place them down, so they're quite useful for sort of beginning storage. And let's place that down for now. So yeah, we've got our starter shack here. I think that's going to be about it for this episode. We've got some neighbours coming to say hello, so I'm getting back inside. So quickly block you off there. Excellent. So yeah, that's it for now, and I'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend trying this mod out. It's very, very different to sort of your standard mod packs where it's all very easy and it's about mass producing items. So yeah, give it a go, and hit the like button if you liked it. So see you next time. Bye bye.